Alrighty, it is Easter Day, and I am going to be making a prime rib to go with those amazing mashed potatoes that I just made earlier today. So, first thing I'm going to do, get my prime rib. What is a prime rib? It's actually just a rib roast with the ribs in it. This is like brontosaurus meat. It's going to be delicious. So I got it at Kenrick's. This is 7 pounds. I'm going to do fat side up. And I need to encrust it with something because I want it to have a lot of flavor. So I'm going to be using olive oil, thyme, kosher salt, garlic. All I did was put it all together, make a paste. It's going to be super, super salty, but that's okay because it's going to encrust it. And then when we cut it, those little bits of salt and garlic and thyme are gonna fall off and we can eat them, or we can put them in our mashed potatoes. It's gonna be so good. All right, so I basically want to go ahead and turn my oven on 500. Dang, that's hot. Yeah, we're not cooking at that temperature the whole time. What it is for 5 minutes for every pound, you're gonna cook it at 500. So for 35 minutes, I'm going to cook it at 500, and then I'm going to turn the oven completely off, leave it closed, don't look at it, don't be tempted to look at it, and I'm going to leave it in there for 2 hours. After 2 hours, it should be completely finished. It's going to slow roast. So again, we need kosher salt, garlic, thyme, olive oil, our big piece of meat, our roasting pan, 500 on our oven. We're going to cook it for 5 minutes per pound at 500 degrees. Then we're going to turn the oven completely off, keep it closed, don't look at it. All right, this has been sitting. It's my olive oil, garlic. It's going to be so good. It smells good. I'm going to put some pepper in it. You know how I am with my pepper and spiciness. What am I going to serve this with? I'm going to serve it with my mashed potatoes that I made earlier. I'm going to serve it with some horseradish cream sauce, which is really just horseradish sauce and sour cream. Mix it together, let it sit. Maybe a little squeeze of lemon juice if you want. Let it sit. It'll all come together and infuse in the flavor. It's going to be really good. And then I have some asparagus that's wrapped with prosciutto that I'm just going to roast on the stovetop. And so we'll have mashed potatoes, prime rib, the asparagus, and I'm going to make a kind of a gravy au jus kind of a thing. All right, wipe my hands. So we're going to put our meat in the pan. And now Claire's staring at me like, this looks amazing, Mama. They do get some. They get to eat some. Just gonna spread this all over the fat side. It's gonna seep into. So what I'm gonna also do is I'm gonna let this sit at come to room temperature. Once it is at room temperature, then I will, Neil's walking through again. Once it's at room temperature, then I'm going to put it in the oven, again, for 5 minutes per pound. So a total of 35 minutes, because it's 7 pounds. Do the math. Okay. Woo! And by that time, by the time this comes to room temperature, my oven will be nice and hot. So the reason we want to cook it on that hot temperature is it's going to sear the top. It's going to start melting the fat. It's going to go into the meat. Then when we turn it off, it's going to be slow roasting it until we get to a medium temperature. Okay. Done. I'm going to do a couple cracked pepper on the top. And that is it. It is super simple to make a prime rib. The only thing is you don't want to mess it up because that's very expensive. That was $127 at Kenrick for a 7-pound bone-in prime rib. So how many am I going to serve with that? Probably Neil and my mom and I for sure tonight, and then we'll have some leftovers. So probably a total of 7 meals, maybe. So again, you're just going to use kosher salt, garlic, thyme, olive oil, salt, pepper. Let your meat come to room temperature. Put your spices on. Put it in the oven. 5 minutes per pound at 500. Once you get to that 5 minutes per pound, turn it off. Gonna leave it in the oven for 2 hours, not opening that door because you want to let the heat stay in. And then we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna eat it. It's gonna be amazing. Making a prime rib is super, super easy. It's just one of those things that you want to pay attention to. Don't want to open the door, and that's it. Okay, I hope you learned something. I hope that you do a prime rib. We always do it on Christmas and New Year's, and I guess now we're doing it on Easter. Okay, bye.